Next, it's time for the very first panel of the day, which is exciting. Hashtag Show Us. Now, this panel is being moderated by Fern Canning-Brook, who is the Managing Director of Edelman. With over 20 years in the PR and marketing industry, Fern is an awarded brand builder and has developed campaigns with diverse brands from Audi, I drive an Audi, Peroni, Baileys, Olay, Nutella, Lacoste, Hugo Boss, Theresa May, I'm still going, Tourism Australia, HP, IKEA, Red Bull, I've had 3 this morning, Disney and Budweiser. Please join me in welcoming Fern.
Girl, you're so young. But you see everything. What if we could show you a vision of beauty where no woman or girl were excluded?
Where fitness comes in all sizes.
Where all hair is professional.
Onde toda a pele é bonita.
Where we're shown exactly the same as everyone else.
Что женственность может быть сильной.
Where beauty isn't binary.
Donde mis canas se ven fantásticas con rojo.
Because if we show you a world where every woman is seen, then girl, you'll show us all.
I think it's really important that there's at least one kid who can see themselves in me. People have this idea that you have to be brave to be who you are.
It would mean so much not to be seen as different.
I'm glad that some little girl is going to see me and think, I could run that boardroom.
This is my clicker. So I'm just so enormously proud to have been a part of that campaign, and it's ongoing. You'll see it everywhere in Australia. Now, I prepared a completely different opener today, and then I emailed Rin last night. I was like, changing the intro, changing everything. And there's a really good reason behind that. I actually can't watch that film without crying now. I Skyped to my nieces last night, Mia and Annalise. I'm going to go to the next. Am I going to the next one? Might have to do it for me, thank you. That's them, a few years ago now. So they're 13 and 11 years old now. They're in the UK. And I was telling them about Project Show Us. So I was telling them I was going to come and talk to you guys today. And Mia, the eldest of the two, reminded me of something that I'd done years ago. So she was probably 6 or 7. Went on a very long car journey, probably to Brighton. And I was in the back with the kids. And Auntie Fern with the kids, as usual, and I had all my magazines with me, so about 3 magazines in the back of the car, and I don't know why, I don't know what it was that made me have this conversation with them that day, but I taught them all about retouching. So I've got a 6 or 7-year-old girl in the car and a 4-year-old girl in the car, and I'm telling them about retouching. And I'm taking them through my magazines and saying to them, this isn't real. You know, these women, you're seeing skin that's been completely retouched. Like, what's retouching? And I have to explain it. Why would that happen? And I'm saying, that women have wrinkles, and they do have hair on their face, and they have pimples, and they have freckles, and I've got a birthmark that I was teased about when I was a kid. That's normal. And I wanted them to know that. And I wanted them to know that women are retouched to look thinner, that teeth are retouched to look whiter, that hair is retouched to look completely perfect and frizz-free, and that's not normal. And Mia's telling me this story last night. I'm like, I don't remember it. I'm ashamed that I don't remember it. I'm just so thrilled that she remembered it. And then she said that I made them go through my 3 magazines Vogue, Marie Claire Harper's, and point out what was real and what was fake. And they really enjoyed doing it. And then obviously we got into like which handbags they liked best, so that was really cool. But what's remarkable to me is that was a long time ago. And I'd love to stand here and say that the needle has really shifted, that I don't need to do that with my nieces. And my next round of nieces who are in Australia and they're only 2 and 1, I hope that I don't have to have that conversation with them in years to come, but I think the sad reality is I probably will. I think the sad reality is we've really got a long way to go still. We are seeing great strides in showing all types of people in media and advertising, but as you've just seen from that film and Project Show Us and why it's so important, it's because we need to make the change and we need to make it now so that none of us are sitting here having to explain what retouching is to kids when they're in their teens and feeling that they have really low self-esteem and they don't see themselves in advertising. So as you've just seen in that film, 70% of women still do not feel represented in media and advertising. It's a huge number, and I would have loved to have stood here and said it's only 50%, and that would have been too much. Women are asking media and advertisers to lead the change and make a difference and start portraying more women that look like them in their ads, in their marketing. Because as you can see, it's not just women, it's girls. This is really impacting them still. They're actually opting out of fundamental life activities because of how these bombardment of images are making them feel. So 7 in 10 women as well, so another 70% number, are feeling pressurised to reach unrealistic standards of beauty because of what they're seeing in the media and marketing. That's why I'm extremely proud to work with Dove, and that's why Dove has taken action with Getty Images and with Girl Gaze and women everywhere to create Project Show Us. It is the world's largest stock photo library created by women to shatter beauty stereotypes, showing women as they are and not as others believe they should be. I'm just going to click through some of these images. Now, it's been a year in the making. This library features 5,000 photographs. Every image was shot by Girl Gaze photographers, 116 of them, representing a diverse global community of women, non-binary and female-identifying photographers. It features women from 39 countries. There are 179 women who took part in this campaign and so many more who are joining it on social and posting their own images, which is incredible. And for the first time with Getty Images, every woman photographed here has personally defined their own search terms and their own tags, which is just awesome. So look, this is just the start. Start somewhere. Dove's been doing this for a long time, and we're here to obviously say to all of you, join this. So I'm going to invite 2 awesome women to the stage to join me. I'm going to invite Carmen Younis from Dove Australia New Zealand, who spearheaded this campaign locally, and Petra O'Halloran from Getty Images, who joined that charge. Take a seat and have a chat. So, look, hopefully no one in this room is left with any doubt. The thing is, we're preaching to the converted. You've all come here because you believe that this is important, and it is important. But Carmen, why is Project Show Us so important, and why did Dove get involved?
So Project Show Us is actually the biggest call to arms that Dove has ever had. I'm sure a lot of you are aware that Dove's been trying to represent women in media and advertising for a long time. It kind of started, we've been selling soap for about 60 years. Our biggest point was probably in 2004. Dove commissioned a study called the Real Truth study. Basically, the insight was that, which is still true today, as we can see, that 70% of women do not feel represented in society. This was the birth of the Real Beauty campaign. So this is, a lot of people might have seen the women in their white underwear. And this campaign was pioneered representing women in different shapes and sizes, and it went all around the world. One other thing that we have been working on since 2005 is the Dove Self-Esteem Project. So the Self-Esteem Project basically is about educating the next generation of women and boys and making them feel represented in their life and their self-esteem. So we have commissioned also a study that young people do not have the self-esteem that they should. So we have free resources and tools where we've reached 20 million children worldwide, and that number's growing every year, to help build their self-esteem. So Show Us is probably, I've been really proud to work on this campaign with Fern and Getty Images, but basically the biggest call to arms that we've ever had that's going across the world. And it's really, really important, and the scale of it has been amazing. So.
Yay. And Petra, Getty Images, incredible that, joined forces with Dove globally and Girl Gaze to start this library. What have you seen in terms of, we were talking last week about the change in the search terms and what people are actually searching for now when they're trying to find those stock images?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the importance of this kind of a campaign now is because that visual storytelling is the language of our time. So it's not only the most common form of communication in advertising, but it's also the most powerful. So someone in the industry, as industry leaders such as Getty Images that are in the content creation business, we have a certain responsibility to contribute to that change. And it's not only that responsibility, it's what you're saying as well about these search terms that we do track. We look at what is going into the website and what's being searched. And I'll share with you some of those search terms. There's been a general kind of increase in searches for diversity across the board, ethnic diversity as well. But we've seen, say, a 72% increase in terms like real people, which is, people jumping onto our site and looking for not those images of people, of models, plastic smiles and that kind of thing anymore, but they're looking for real people like you and I to represent in their campaigns as well. More specifically towards a female focus, there's rises in terms such as female leaders. So that's up 306% on last year in Australia. These are Australian search terms. Confident businesswoman is up 428% from last year. But the most staggering of all, and what kind of speaks directly to this campaign, is that the term female empowerment is up 591% on last year. So that's absolutely staggering stats, and really points to the whole formation of this campaign, in that it's not just a collection of images of diverse women, but it's also created by these 116 women across the world. They've worked with the models. They've got approval from these models to put this image of them out into the world, and to, as you said earlier, to tag those images. So they're self-identifying through the tags on these images. So yeah, it is really important.
I recounted this to you, but I remember a couple of years ago, and I don't know where I heard this. So yeah. Just go that it's a bit of a rumour, but I'm going to say it's true. A couple of years ago, I heard that if somebody typed the word disabled into an image library, all they got served back was a picture of a little bird, which is kind of weird. I can't really understand where that comes from, but please tell me that's changed as well.
Okay. I do know the article, and I know that the picture that you're speaking of, and it wasn't a general search term into Getty Images. It was actually to do with a collection that was a work in progress at the time. So if you search disability or disabled on Getty Images, currently you'll see over 150,000 images around people with disabilities. But if you actually type in disability collection, we just celebrated our 1-year anniversary of the Global Disability Collection. So there's over 1,000 images in there now that more accurately depict people with disability more authentically. But on a kind of local level, we have launched a collection last year, part of with Canon, in partnership with Canon. It's called This Is Australia, and it looks at diversity across the board. And I think at the time that we launched that, it was still a work in progress. And when you launch something that is a work in progress, you need to be prepared for feedback and for criticism. And it's what you do with that really matters. And this year we've relaunched the This Is Australia collection, and the first thing that we're looking at is about repicturing disability in Australia. So,
hurrah!
Yeah.
We see more of that coming through. coming back to the Australian campaign for Show Us, there were 6 women from Australia that feature in the campaign amongst those 39 countries. So tell us more about how do we find those faces with Girl Gaze and with Dove?
Yeah, so we worked with 4 Girl Gaze photographers in Australia. One in particular, the story that kind of stood out to me about how they chose their models as they wished they were family, friends, or in the instance of Megan, she chose her model Rana, who was actually on screen earlier, the Muslim woman standing in front of the AFL goals. She followed her for some time on social media and really liked the work that she was doing. She works at Richmond Football Club down in Melbourne, and she works as the coordinator for diversity and inclusion there. So Megan got in touch with her, told her about the campaign, and Rana was immediately put her hand up to participate and was like, as a woman who has grown up with parents who migrated here from India in the 70s, she never saw anyone that looked like her in the media or in advertising. So she wanted to get involved to make a difference for future generations. Yeah.
Pretty cool. I think every woman that we've featured, you're going to be seeing them all. You probably have already started seeing them in Out of Home and in print. They're just all remarkable women. And I think what, as we said before, what's heartening is seeing people actually join that and start to use the hashtag Show Us and post their own pictures and actually advocate for the campaign, which is really awesome. But on that, Carmen, what has the response been to this?
So, as you said, Fern, the response has been pretty immense across the world. So we kind of, it's kind of a call to arms as well. So the hashtag Show Us, if you search it on Instagram, from the end of March launch, has over 700,000 photos have been submitted where women are basically defining how they see themselves and what they define as beauty. So it's not only about, these beautiful images which are gorgeous and representing these women, but it's about saying that you can be a part of it too. So it's also been the scale, we've seen it in places like Times Square and Piccadilly Circus, and just recently on the weekend at the Spice Girls concert, which I thought was pretty cool. So it's been global, and I'm checking the hashtag every day, and I'm seeing the awesome photos that people are submitting. We've also had over 1,000 images that have been submitted into the photo bank on Getty Images on top of these 5,000. So it's building, and it's building every day.
Great. And are you seeing, I guess, from that point of view, people actually downloading those images using the library?
Yeah.
How's
So I
that
mean,
going?
obviously it's a work in progress, and it's something that will take a bit of time to start seeing that usage happen. But we have actually had uses by publications such as Harper's Bazaar, O Magazine, Stylist, Marie Claire. So it's been very, very positive response from our
Two of the
clients.
magazines I took my nieces to all those years ago, so that's good to hear. Before I ask you this question, Carmen, I'm going to preface it with something that my team went through. So Edelman had the job of we actually did the research at the end of last year and beginning of this year, which informed the campaign, or 2 years ago now, which informed the campaign and kind of got that ball rolling. But our job has also been to create awareness about this campaign locally and in other markets around the world, and talk to media about it. And my team came up to me in the office and said, "You're not going to believe this, but we've had 2 journalists from different media publications, who I will not name and shame, although they deserve to be named and shamed right now, who actually said, we don't really want to feature those pictures. Our readers don't really want to see women like that. They want to see the Kardashians." Both instances. Now, if we cannot get our media to change, what hope do we have? That's pretty disgusting. Anyway, rant aside. Carmen, what has the response been? Have we had any negativity or pushback?
I think there's in a global brand like Dove, it's a huge brand, and people are always going to question our authenticity on a conversation like this. So there definitely have been naysayers, but I think what people are becoming more aware of is that we're persistent. It's not something that we've just jumped on the bandwagon. We've been doing it for almost 20 years, talking about representing real women and representing them for almost 60 years. So if we don't do it, we have the scale, we have the voice. If we don't do it, what brand is going to do it? So there has been, but I'm really proud that we're persistent and we're we're going for it. So
Yeah, it's the right thing to do.
yeah, exactly. I agree.
You have a room full of some of the brightest minds. I hope you. Yep, yeah, the little brightest minds in marketing, media, and advertising right here. So, what do you want to say to them?
I think this campaign is unique that we're calling to the industry as well, and you guys are the industry, so you guys are going to have the impact that we're trying to have. So if we all try and use these images and bring these conversations in and ask ourselves every day, how are we representing women every day in what we're doing, I think we can have the impact. So I definitely call you guys to check it out.
Yeah, I mean, anyone in any industry and any level that has that role of, creating imagery or selecting or distributing has the responsibility to better represent the diverse audiences that they're speaking to. So, I mean, even if it's not licensing these exact images, we would ask you to kind of, every time you're kind of creating a campaign, sit there and ask yourself, are you showing diversity across the board through gender, age, sexuality, religion, disability, ethnicity? Are you showing it authentically? So you're showing real situations. And are you challenging rigid beauty ideals that have existed for so long? And something that's kind of, I guess, most important, and it speaks to that kind of not tokenistic approach to doing this, a more kind of genuine approach, is are you showing diversity in your leading roles, not just in your supporting roles, but your leading roles? And that's, if you're doing that, then I think you'll be creating content that really cuts through and is diverse and inclusive.
And for me, I'd just say break the cycle, remember your humanity, get your heads out of these briefs where the client is really enforcing certain things and challenge back. It's the right thing to do. If they expect everybody to buy their product and service, every type of person, then they should feature every type of person in their campaigns. So look, on that, I'm going to thank you both. Petra, tell us again, how does everyone get involved, start downloading this, start using it?
You can jump on the website, which is gettyimages.com.au/show-us if you want to see the full collection there. I definitely recommend having a look at it. The first time I looked at it, it sent chills down my spine. It's quite amazing. Or you can just jump on the regular Getty Images search engine and type in Project Show Us or hashtag Show Us, and you'll find all the imagery there.
Thanks.
Round of applause. Can I just ask before you go, an amazing campaign, and what you're saying around inclusive leadership is so important. We say that back in little old Aotearoa. But when is this going to come to New Zealand? Because I've not seen this campaign.
Good question.
It's going to come.
Sorry, it's going to come.
It's going to come.
Shall I come a bit closer?
And I'm fighting for a Maori woman next year, so definitely.
I'm really expensive,
yes.
but good to know. Okay, thank you both very much, all of you, Fern, Carmen and Petra.